Every story has a hero, a villain, lots of emotions, and an inspiring message. At least, attempted to give one. Today is the happiest day in my life. Now I'm independent and going to get married to this perfect guy. Even though I never expected it, I finally have the perfect fairy tale ending. I never thought I would be laughing again. Sometimes I'll have flashes from my past, but they don't send fear through my body anymore. To tell my story in a short version, I was 6. He touched me inappropriately and started telling things I didn't understand. I never felt comfortable around him. I didn't tell anyone for a while, and when I finally did, half didn't believe me and half didn't want to. My mother made me stop going to school for a few days, then she never allowed me to play outside. That incident might not mean much to the people around me or just a little fun to my abuser, but my eyes always filled with dread every time I heard someone behind me. And I always got an irresistible urge to hit anyone who happened to touch me unexpectedly. Meanwhile, my father got transferred and we were enrolled in a new school. I was so happy. But after a few years, I met another demon who started molesting me. I didn't tell anyone at home because I knew the price my mother would make me pay, but this time I wasn't alone either. I had my friends to help me. Together, we informed the local news about him. They alerted the police and came to school with the child helpline. He lost his job. However, instead of appreciating us for our bravery, we were scolded for making him lose his job. That day, I understood that community was more important than an individual to the people around me. From then on, people would whisper behind my back and I would get strange stares. Many people avoided me because I was labeled as trouble. I was expelled from school. My mother started scolding me, said I was defamed in society and not going to get married. They started homeschooling me. Until one summer day, while I was going to groceries, the demon abducted me in a van. This was my nightmare. When I went back home, I didn't tell anybody and had no clue of how to tell them. My mother applied an ointment to a bruise on my hand. I know she wouldn't treat me the same way if I told her what had happened. Then he came in the evening, asking my hand for marriage, and told my parents the truth. They cried and agreed for marriage to not to get my siblings' future disturbed because of me. I wondered why I couldn't just let myself die. Then they said my life had already ended and warned me what everybody would say about my character if I died. In the name of justice, they legally gave him permission to rape me every day. The community had said to my parents, "She's of age and she would respond to it." All I wanted to ask was, would these big people react the same way when things happen to their wives and daughters? Why imagining somebody else? Why not them in my shoes? Innocently and reluctantly, I entered hell. I was not allowed to go out, neither could I ask for money nor talk to anyone. I was an object to dump all his emotional baggage on with ruthless words and actions. I always wanted to ask him, why? Why me? Over time, I thought being dead would be my best option while I was contemplating suicide. During one long, painful night, the demon whispered in my ears that he wished I was dead. I was angry, frightened more. Then it struck me, why should I die? Why should I stay paralyzed and live with fear and shame? What sin did I commit? Unable to bear the torture any longer, I ran away to my parents. Society blamed me again like I did something unforgivable. But I wasn't silent, and they heard my voice this time. The way they were expecting me to live was the life I had to live. And I didn't need their pity. I wanted them to stop humiliating me. I'm not a sin. I wanted justice, and my justice was his punishment. They warned me not to take it to the court because they might turn down my case against him from lack of proper evidence. And even with evidence, they said it would take a lot of time in court to get justice, and I would be hopeless after one stage since there is no point of getting judgment after I die or get old. There would be no escape from memories which haunt me either because I had to remember everything, every small detail to testify against him until final judgment. Then my father also convinced me that he could not leave his job to go to the court every time and it will trouble the family even more. They didn't understand he was still out there, that demon was still out there and knew where I live. I didn't want to live in constant fear. They silenced me with their words, but they could not put out the fire in my heart. Why should I have to hide? Why does it have to affect me for the rest of my life? Why do I have to feel guilty and ashamed? Should have to be the one who to feel all those emotions, not me. I cried, silently screaming inside. Movies, campaigns, all sorts of awareness programs and laws came along, but nothing has changed over time. Somewhere in middle of those fears and questions, born my desire to do something meaningful in my life, and I started dreaming again for a new life. I couldn't live like that anymore because I'm done being weak. I'm done praying to be set free. I didn't want to be left out with pain and suffering. So I started studying again. After a little while, community heads and my parents wanted me to get married again. I was not willing or ready. My mother said, "You have no idea what society will think if you reject this proposal. How will you survive? It is hard for somebody to marry you. It's God's grace that He offered His hand." They always thought about society and their comments. If these loudmouth people cannot ignore me, I can ignore them. They wanted me to marry any person who offers me his hand. They didn't understand that when something happens again, I didn't want to go back to my parents. Again. What if there comes a day where I couldn't go to anybody? I'm not a sin, but a fellow human, and I have equal rights to live like them. I didn't want to end up a mess. I didn't want my scars to take charge of my life and mask my identity. I didn't want to talk with fear, but confidence. I wanted to live with freedom, even at the cost of my death. I had cried enough. Humiliation doesn't hurt me anymore. Rape and domestic violence are not my identity. I want to survive with pride and respect, and education was the only way. I told them that I applied to one institute and they were offering me a scholarship. I didn't want to miss the chance. "You would be alone," my father shouted. I'm used to being alone. My mother worried about my safety in a new place. That made me laugh. I grew up in a safe environment, always covering from head to toe, and never stepped out of house without their permission. What for? What did that leave me? What else left to be afraid of? I have nothing to lose. I was already a living corpse. Death doesn't scare me, but not standing up for myself would definitely have intensified my pain. I left home to let happiness overtake my pain. After a year at college, strange whispers and stares started again. I couldn't understand what it was. Slowly, through my roommate, I got the news that there was a sex video of me out there. My demon had uploaded it. I froze and I couldn't believe that it was really happening. My mind shut off completely. Some voice inside me said to be strong and fight him off. I filed a complaint against him and they did what they could. I was also enrolled in therapy sessions to help me come to terms over it. It was a struggle every day. During one of those sessions, they made me meet this guy who said that he was a victim too, mother and stepdad. He had no clue of what was happening. They always said that he was a good child, and after they're done, they would give him $1. They ruined his little innocent mind. He held it all in for many years, overpowered by his fears, wanted to run away from home, but it is all he had ever known. Finally, he gathered all his courage and they got punished. One day, he sent me this text message. "Unfortunately, we don't have the power over other people or their actions. Although my abusers got punished for what they did to me, they still haunt my brain. And still, I feel I'm the one to blame. I lived with fear, hate, and disgusted with shame and guilt. And slowly, I realized that the more I hold on to things, more pain. I've grown since then. Sometimes, when I get a trigger of flashbacks, I pour out the pain and anger that I had to suppress in my childhood through music. It's my own therapy to take away from hurt. I know that it's not an easy thing to share with people, but to get over it, it's better to let it out than bottle it up inside. Please, please know you're not what happened to you. He has your past and don't give him your future. It's not your fault, and even though this might suck up so bad right now, don't let yourself give up because of him or anybody. It's not easy, I know, but somehow you have to accept it and put it behind what you cannot change. To free your heart from anger, hate, and pain. You are not to blame, and there is nothing you could do. You can be stronger. Don't let the hate consume you. Keep your head up high always, no matter what. Those are the words I've been begging to hear. They gave me my courage back. True, I was tortured, not dead. I shouldn't kill my dreams over somebody's obsession of private parts. Society is not living my life. It cannot destroy me or my life. I won't let it. I won't let anyone force it to destroy me. I want to live and fight, at least for the sake of my future children, to teach them to respect people, regardless of their gender and sexuality. I'm not going to teach them to afraid, but I'll teach them to behave. Well, that's the end of the video, and if you are the one who is going through any kind of abuse or struggle, I hope this video gave you at least a little bit of strength. I pray that you find the right someone to help you, and that right someone could be you to you sometimes. You have the power to end it. Stay strong, you will make it through, and much love to you and all best wishes. For some people, it is easy to joke around about rape and abuse, but they never know who has been through it. It affects someone very badly and forever changes them into a person that they never thought they would be, whether they are within the community or outcasted. There would be trust issues, intimation and relationship issues, and can contact HIV, STDs. In some cases, victims are injured so severely that they are unable to function normally. If they don't have enough money to survive, talk about progressing economically. Every relationship they have will be impacted by it. Psychological effects can range from depression, anxiety, low self esteem, suicidal thoughts, and if that is not enough, add social humiliation of their entire family. Victims suffer psychologically, physically, socially, and economically. No wonder rape has been used as a weapon of psychological warfare for centuries, because it not only affects victims but also their children, their family, and hence the whole community. And and in some cases, the impact can last decades and even for multiple generations. So, rape is just not a mistake. If you think this video would be helpful to someone you know to overcome some horrible events in their lives, please share this video. There are many who end up going through this. And also share your stories or messages or opinions in the comment section below. You can also reach me on the following social networking sites. Links are also in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and always keep smiling and stay strong.